Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm sorry about the delay. Sometimes in this technical world and all the technology that we have, sometimes the technology is not as clever as us humans. So sometimes we get a bit of mistake. But welcome once again to another exciting episode of Women Wednesday with your host, Lady B. Bless. So, Women Wednesday is a weekly look at some amazing women who are doing some amazing things in leadership roles as mentors, as role models, as change makers, as community leaders and advocates, as presidents, as CEO, executive directors, and boss ladies. These women that I spotlight every Wednesday are definitely women that leads. And this week we have no exception to the rule. She is definitely a leader. She is definitely a role model. She's a change maker. And I tell you, she is an excellent dancer. And I'll tell you about that as we move on. Today with us, we have Mrs. Talker Wallace. And the reason we have her today is because I just found out that she is the winner of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II 161st Commonwealth Point of Light Award. I was so proud. I was so excited for her. I put her all over Facebook because she is such a humble, kind, I tell you, just a sweet and genuine person. I could go ahead and read all that what she does, but I want her to tell you everything that she does. So you guys, you can see her bio at the bottom. If you want, you could read it, go right ahead. But I'm gonna move in and talk to Miss Wallace right now. My queen, my darling, how are
My
you?
dear, I am doing very well. How are you? I don't even have to ask you. You look awesome. You're glowing.
Thank you. Well, I had to get ready for my queen now. I just didn't want to come up here. I just said to the, do I have to curse you now? Do I have to bow?
Not at all. I'm,
Ah,
I'm, I'm your same sister friend.
oh my gosh, she's my sister friend for real. And
Yes, yes.
it's a funny story. We met 2 years ago. It's been 2 years, right?
2 years, yes.
2 years
Around
in
this time,
Charlotte on a
around,
rainy Saturday, December 1st.
yes,
December, rainy December 1st in Charlotte. And oh, right now she is in the islands. So we are broadcasting live from the Caribbean, St. Kitts.
yes. I'm in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes. So she's
Yes.
having good weather while we are here suffering with the cold. But we won't hold that against her. I hope
Yes.
everyone could hear fine. Your volume is a little low.
My
So
volume?
yeah, your volume is a little low. So I hope
Okay,
everyone
so
can hear
I'll
fine as we
I'll
delve
put it up.
into who you are and what you do. So let's start with how we met. How did we meet?
As you said, you were advertising about the SDGs, and I happen to be one of the persons who I'm very passionate about the context of the SDGs. And so when I saw that you were having a meeting, I was in Charlotte on vacation, and I told my other sister friend that I have to go to this forum. I have to attend this forum, and I'm so happy I did. It was a
Yes.
Saturday afternoon. It was raining, and I braved the rain. And I am from the Caribbean, so I do not like rain.
And
When
it was cold.
it was cold and it was rainy.
And I was so surprised. I was so surprised and so honored because I think three people showed up because it was so cold, it was so raining. Here in Charlotte, when it rains and it gets cold, no one goes anywhere. I
I
was
know.
anticipating the cold, but I was not anticipating the rain. And for those that don't know, the SDGs are the Sustainable Development Goals laid out in 2015 by the United Nations
Yes.
to have a better world by 2030 by implementing 17 specific goals. And go to find out, Ms. Wallace was the coordinator for the government, right, for the SDGs.
Yes, for the NIA, I was a consultant, and I continue to be a consultant on the SDGs as it relates to the Nevis Island Administration. Yes.
So that's a wonderful thing. So she and her, I know her friend Cassandra and I are friends, and so she saw it, and then she told Cassandra she has to come, she has to come, and then Cassandra had something to do, and so she left her there, and I was like,
Yes.
okay. So,
We had an awesome time.
and we had an awesome time. We went out to eat, we went out to
Yes.
drink, and then I found out that she's here for like a week. So I'm like, hey, let's hang out. So we went out to Lake Norman. I took her to Lake Norman, and
Yes.
then I had 2 tickets to the Mint Museum. They had a Latin dance
Right.
festival, and I
Right.
called her. I said, "Do you want to go?" She was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I know, and we ended up having such a wonderful time. Went to the Mint Museum, and it was just Latin music,
Yes.
Caribbean music, and
Yes.
we danced, and we spent the whole night just
Yes.
having
Yes.
a good time.
It was nice.
It was
It was,
nice,
it
and we
was
have
very nice.
it's my forever friend.
Yes, and especially the memory is so good. Especially there's a time like now when I'm looking at you and I can't even touch you because it's covered. But that was one of the highlights of my trip.
Aw. And
Meeting
she
you
was
was one
cutting
of
the
the
rug. She
highlights.
was. I'm a go outer person. I don't like sitting at home. So you could imagine what COVID is doing to me.
I could
Can
imagine.
you imagine? Look at the weight. Look at the weight.
I know.
Look at the
I
weight.
have it. I have it as well.
Yes, and
Even movie stars have it.
yes, everyone is
Yes,
having it.
everybody.
I'm seeing
Yes.
the pop belly. You have a glare. Your glare is coming in again on
Okay.
your
Yes.
camera on your. We
Yes.
know you are a ray of sunshine already. Even the sun is saying that you're a ray of sunshine. So we are. It was definitely an experience I will always forget. And next time she comes, she's definitely bunking with me. I told her friend. I said I'm gonna kidnap her and
Oh,
keep her
oh
because
my,
I
we're gonna
know
have problems.
we're gonna have problems. She
We'll
lives
have
next
problems.
door, and she
I
lives
know.
next door.
We'll have
So
problems.
when she
This,
come knocking at the door, I'll just hide you in the closet.
well, you see, there's a matter of loyalty.
Yes, I know,
As,
right?
as,
I'm
as
not
a,
gonna win that one.
it's a matter of loyalty. My friend, who have been my friend for many years, if I did that to her before, I slept with somebody else. I never, she never forgave me. So
She'll never forgive you.
I
That's okay.
spend,
We can
I
share you
spend,
because we're
yes,
like two
yes,
houses apart. So we'll
yes,
definitely share you. We'll just let
yes.
her do all the cooking because she's an excellent cook,
Oh my,
and we'll do all the eating.
definitely. I'll make the
'Cause-
dumplings down.
oh
I'll,
yeah, because we're excellent eaters.
yes, yes, yes,
And you'll come over here for the dancing and the
yes.
whining. Yeah.
Everything, yeah.
And we'll have that fun. And you have been involved with the government in your country for quite a while. So this is
Yes.
not your first go around with these type of awards. So just give us a little background on some of the stuff that you have done with gender equality, women empowerment, young girls, the youths, and all of that in St. Kitts in Neville, right?
Saint Kitts and
Nevis,
Nevis, Saint Kitts and
Nevis.
Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, firstly, I'm a retired civil servant. I worked for the government in a field of disaster management when there was no female in disaster management. So many times I would be the only female in the room. And until I think it was in 1998, after Hurricane George devastated St. Kitts and Nevis, I was always at the forefront because I coordinated all of the shelters on the island. And so, because the men do not want to admit that I'm a woman, they would say, "You're an honorary male." They called me an honorary male.
What? Those Caribbean men, we just have to change their ways. An
Imagine,
honorary male. In other words, you're a man just like us, yes?
I'm a man, yes. And my breast couldn't be any bigger.
Right? Because you're like all female.
Yes, I'm all female. But I was for over 2 years, I was called a man. And so, in terms of gender, one of the things that I made sure in my field of work was that when we did training, we had gender balance. And so, whenever I was the in-kind contribution for all of the funding that came to disaster management in terms of implementing projects. So when I'm implementing a project, I will make sure it has gender balance. And today, we have so many women trained in disaster management and other fields that impact on disaster management because it was a deliberate action on our part, initiated by myself, because women can no longer, especially in disaster situations, women are disproportionately affected because when there's a disaster, then there is reconstruction, but women did not do construction. And so in the field of construction, we had to make sure we have women. And fast forward to today, over the years, I've worked with several organizations, and UNESCO is one of the main ones that I work with. I work on the Man and the Biosphere program, and it's been implemented in my community. And so I felt honored to be part of this process for over 10 years now. And for over 10 years, I have been one of the volunteer managers of the Biosphere Reserve, where we implement plans for the advancement of the area because it's a rural area and it's a coastal area and it has mountains, so it's terrestrial and everything. So we are involved in protection of the environment and looking at the role, even now, when we look at the Sustainable Development Goals, we realize that we have to marry development with sustainability. And so on a regular basis, we would have to make sure that the environment is not negatively impacted by our work.
Yes.
And then you do so many things with the community because community life is about traditions, it's about culture, it's about the essence of a community that's lived together and coexisted together for generations. We are not like persons who live in big, large societies where you're able to move from here to here. Most of the time, a family would live in a place for all their lives.
Yes, yeah.
And so you come to know everybody in your community. You know that coming from where you came from. You know that. Guyana, the community life is rich and healthy.
Yes.
And so being a volunteer has enhanced that for me because you know the everyday lives of your community and you know who need help, what the resources are, etc. And you move to assist where you can and to help to lift where you can.
You're definitely a trailblazer.
Amen.
You say you're retired and you're like looking so young. You're retired at a younger age, right?
in our federation, a civil servant traditionally retires at 55, not like.
Oh, wow. I'm coming.
In my society.
To wait until 65, 68 here to retire. Yes. I'm coming.
Yes.
Hey, I know you have that guest room for me already.
Oh, definitely. You saw it. I showed it to you.
I know, right?
You can come.
Well, no, I'm coming. COVID is not going to stop me. Soon I have to beat COVID and get there so I can enjoy the beach and the lovely weather of the islands. And you do a lot with young ladies. I think we spoke one time. You have the program with the young women on the island.
Reign of Elegance.
Reign of Elegance.
Yes.
That sounds nice.
That started over 20 years ago, actually. I was working with UNFPA on the attitudes of persons towards teenage pregnancies, persons who become pregnant in their teens. I was working with a lady named Dr. Banks from Anguilla. So I was the technical person from St. Kitts. And when the project was finished, I was working with a group of young people, like in high school, just leaving high school. And after this whole reign of elegance happened because of these young people. After the project was finished, they kept coming back and asking me, well, Miss Wallace, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? So I said, what is something fun that we can do and at the same time help to develop these young people? And from that point on, we married ourselves to Reign of Elegance, where we taught all these young people. We had, at some point, we have up to 50 young persons who we do fashion events, but it is, the fashion event is the attraction. Once they come in for the fashion event, then you bring in a counselor, then you bring in public speaking, then you bring in all types of activities to help to develop the total person. One of the things that we did at Reign of Elegance was to have each member fill out a form to say what their career goals are, where they would like to go, and we would help to channel them in that direction. And so over the years, Reign of Elegance have evolved. Can you imagine 20, some of them are in their 40s now. They still call me mommy.
Oh,
As a matter of fact.
that is the effect you have on people. I tell you, it's no one ever wants to let you go.
I know.
You know that, right?
I know.
You're not going anywhere.
I have that challenge because
You're stuck with me for life.
that's a good thing, because I think my grandmother is the one who instilled this kind of a spirit in me. My grandmother was the center of everybody's life. Everybody came by my grandmother because she was always happy. She always had something positive to say.
Yeah.
And she always had that, the poverty situation was there, but I did not realize I was poor. Can you imagine? I did not realize I was poor because my grandmother would always have a bag there with some bread.
My grandmother is the same way. She says, as long as you have a bag of rice and flour,
yes,
you are good.
You're good.
Flour, water, and a bag of rice.
Yes.
And she go make some bake.
A little dust of salt. Yes. And so over the years, I strive to be like my grandmother because she was never mean to anyone. A lot of times you'll be around people who permeates this negativism. She was always positive and always thought positive. And not only that, she would go the extra mile to make sure that we, her grandchildren, were okay. And it was, my mother had 13 children.
Bless her heart.
13. And my grandmother was the matriarch of the family. So she would look after us and the other children from other children. So we had a melting pot of children. And all of us, everybody think she loved them the most. How is that possible?
Yes. Because everyone knew that they were the favorite.
Yes. Everybody was treated special. And so, yes, and everybody was treated special. And so that is where I get that part of my personality from.
Yes. It's beautiful. Like my grandmother said, you should never meet a stranger. Always try to make a friend wherever you go.
That's true.
And that is definitely your personality.
Yes. So in terms of volunteering, it is something that I encourage everyone to do. Because if you live for yourself, just yourself, you will live in pain. But if you live for others, you'll continue to live. They will always call your name.
Yes.
They'll always mention your name.
Even when you're trying to sleep, they're going to be ringing your phone.
I know.
I'm like, can I get some sleep? No, Lady B, you can't sleep.
I know.
But it's such a beautiful way to be.
Yes, and I know that you have been doing your fair share of reaching out to persons, and that is why we met. Because you were involved in providing assistance for persons in Africa. You dedicated so much of your time to doing that, and that is why we are kindred spirit. People
Yeah.
sometimes do not understand us because we don't go after the riches
Yeah.
ourselves because we can, but we don't go after the riches for ourselves. We go after things so that we can share with others.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Humanitarian. That's why I tell people, first and foremost, what do you? I say I'm a humanitarian.
Yes,
I don't know any other way to be.
yes,
You
and
see, giving is happiness itself.
yes,
You
because
see?
I think it was about the same day when I was told of a lady who needed assistance on the other side of the island. And working here at the Red Cross, volunteering here at the Red Cross, I asked for a package to give to this lady, and it went to the wrong place. And so I came back and I said, but the person didn't get the package. We put a package together. And I said, I will go and take it myself. I drove to the other side of the island. And when I'm going, I'm calling the person, and the person saying, Miss Wallace, I know you. We used to work together. I know you. And I say, God wanted me to deliver that package because when I got there, I know the lady and I know her well, very well.
Wow.
Yes. And she was so happy to receive the assistance. And it was myself and my daughter. And we drove right around the island. So when we got back to my gate, we felt so good because we would have done something positive to
Yes.
impact someone. And I had some pancake mix and syrup that came from our friend, our mutual friend.
Uh-oh. I tell you.
It was it
Let
was
her do the cooking and
it
we'll do
was
the
a
eating.
big bag of pancake mix. And my daughter said, Mommy, put that in the package for the family because.
Ah,
And when I go, the guys they say, wow, pancake mix. Oh my gosh. They were so happy for it. So we left there feeling. So you say, when you do something good, you feel so good.
yes, yeah.
I left there feeling so elated and good. And then I got to my gate. And I
Uh-huh.
was about to jump out the car. I got a call, and this gentleman said, do you have a minute to speak? I didn't know the voice, but I said, okay, of course. He says, I called to tell you that you are the recipient of the Point of Light award from Her Majesty. And I'm
And
stupefied.
you're
I'm
like, the Majesty who?
like,
You're like, wait, the lady bee sent me something?
and it says, we want you to write something and take a quick picture of yourself because the Queen would like to announce it at Buckingham Palace. And I'm like,
At this point, what's going through your mind?
at that point, my hands are shaking. Yes, because I'm saying somebody's playing a prank with me, And
You're looking for the cameras.
and then and then I said, "Is this for real?" He said, "Yes, I'm going to send you an email. So when give me your email address, I'll send you an email." And I gave him my email address, and then I come out of the car, and me and my daughter hugging up and almost crying, like, "Where did this come?" So I said to him, "Who nominated me?" He says, "It did not come from your country. So, Lady B, were you the one who
No.
nominated?"
You- I was just as elated as you.
And so when I,
I wish I did.
so I went in and I put something together and I sent it off, and I thought there was going to be a period before, it was disclosed. The it was a Thursday, the Friday. Somebody say, Miss Wallace, your name is on Win FM. Somebody talking about you on the radio. And he said, this thing came down from Buckingham Palace and the Commonwealth Secretariat that you have been nominated the 161st Point of Light. Somebody called me and told me that. And then there was a picture of me in one of the chats that I'm attached to. And I'm like, oh my, these people move fast before you can even tell anyone they move on you. But it was a great, great moment for me. It
Okay,
was,
have they done your parade yet? I demand a parade.
well,
You could be like this in a parade.
because of the COVID, they said that they are going to organize a handing over, but they don't
Wow.
know how they're going to do it as yet. So I'm waiting on them.
I hope it's virtual so we could attend.
I know
I hope it's virtual.
whatever it is, you will have to. If we have to go, if it is after the situation, just put on your hat and we'll go to Buckingham
I
Palace.
know, darling.
Yes,
Put
even
on
though
my pearls.
yes, even though when I hear somebody, a black person calling themselves sir, I I I am not the person who look at titles and
Right.
stuff like that, and would wish to have a title or anything like that. I am the person who I, where I came from, I am so comfortable with myself as I am,
Mhm.
and so this, I am an everyday person, can coexist with my bare feet on the ground or in stilettos wherever. So having that kind of experience is humbling. That's number one. Number two,
Mhm.
I took it in honor of my grandmother. My grandmother deserved this award, and to see it being given to, and it's for volunteering,
Yes.
and my my first thought was my grandmother have impacted my life so much, and God brought me to this point to for her for her generation, one of the lineage of her generation, to be recognized in this way as a reflection on her. And so,
Yes.
and so
And I
I,
know I know she's so proud.
yes,
I know she is
yes,
absolutely so
yes,
proud.
I always live my life to, to in honor of my grandmother, because I remember growing up, and when you're poor, you don't have a lot of anything. I was going to run in a sports day, and
Mhm.
I was in Red House, and she had no money or anything. She cut down one of her skirts for the whole night. She sewed my skirt, and I had red piping. I don't know where she got it from, but when
Wow.
the next day when I go to school to take part in the sports, I was better. I looked better than everybody who had all of the money, because
Ah,
it took that extra time. And so when you're given an opportunity like that, and you represent so well, like as a grandmother, as a mother, as a friend, as a community person, when you find someone who you can help to lift up, you do it to the best of your ability.
yes.
Yes.
And that's you. That's you 100%. What did the general do? What did the general say?
The colonel.
The don't tell him I said that.
he said, he said, more lights on you. You need, you
tell
need
the colonel now. Yes, he has to walk 2 steps behind you.
more lights.
Yeah,
Um,
tell him the point of light.
yes, 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 yes. He said,
Ah,
but he's very supportive. He's very supportive. As a matter of fact, I can even tell the audience that I was one of the teenage mothers. I got pregnant in high school, and my daughter, my first daughter, is now 41 years old.
wow.
Yes. And I got pregnant for this guy. We weren't married at the time. He said, my grandmother again. He said, oh, you could have an abortion and go back to school, because I was in A1. But I
Hmm.
decided I wouldn't do that. And my grandmother called him, and my grandmother spoke with him. And when he left my grandmother, he said, I'm going to get married to you.
Right away. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to get married to you. I don't know up to know what my grandmother told him. But I think at that point, you don't, a lot of people think that when you're young, you don't have the wisdom of now to say, well, this must come first or that must come first. You know,
Mhm.
you just fall into a situation. But I was a teenage mother and I dropped out of high school.
Wow.
But after I had my daughter, my same colonel, he paid for me to go to, he made sure I went to evening classes and I went to
Your
secretary.
real light is shining again in your back.
Yes,
It just wants to give you that halo.
yes.
There
And
you go.
and when you have support, a lot of times people who become teenage mother who don't have the support fall through the cracks. But I did not fall through because I
Because
had
you had a great grandmother.
great. My grandmother was there for me. My the colonel was there for me, and so
The
I
Colonel, I tell you, so he's been there from the beginning.
yes, he was the first and the last.
The first and the last.
Yes,
And that is so rare today. Congratulations.
yes,
Let's
yes,
salute the Colonel.
yes, yes. He paid for me.
And support, he's very supportive. I tell you, people, whatever she does. And she's had some leadership roles in where some men would have been really intimidated by it. But he's really, and
Yes,
that will show you the type of man he is.
yes, he's very
Yeah.
supportive. Yes, and when I'm doing events like I now we do a Mother's Day event, an annual Mother's Day event, because I lost my mom when I was 18,
Wow.
and yeah, that is why I think a lot of time I don't talk a lot about my mother because I lost my mom at 18 years old, and some years ago, I think when some years ago, about 10, 15 years ago, I decided I'm not going to go out and eat on Mother's Day because on Mother's Day everybody go to have I what
Yes.
I want to honor a mother who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. And we started by partnering with the Youth Parliament Association of Young Persons and having them teaching them management because they manage the event and they would send out a call for persons to send in information on their mothers and they would pick the winner and that mother would be honored at our
Wow.
event. Yes. So annually, we honor a mother, and it has been such an impactful
I bet.
thing. Yes, yes, yes. Because this year was COVID, we did not have it this year, and persons are asking me if I couldn't do it virtually, if COVID is still here next year, if I can do it virtually. So we will certainly try to do that.
Yes, I could certainly help you with that.
Yes, definitely.
Because that is an important event.
Yes,
Sometimes you never know the impact you make in someone's life just by saying job well done,
yes,
you know?
definitely.
And
But
a
not
lot of
only that,
people miss out on that.
our objective is to bridge the generation gap. You bring young people in contact with older people. We even have a table for persons from the home,
Huh.
and we bust them in and
Make them
and
feel special.
yes, and serve tea and all of that, so that at that on that day, all mothers who come to our event is treated with royalty.
Oh,
And so we partner with so many different organizations and we get so many nice gifts to give to our winners. Not only we wear hats, everybody has to wear a hat, male or
oh.
female. And do you know some men wear women's hats to that event? They say,
They want to be stylish too.
yes, they say, even the models, they want to raise the female for the hats because we borrow hats from
Oh,
outlandish hats. And so we give a price for the most outrageous hats. We give a price for the oldest hats.
hmm.
So if you can find a hat from the 1940s,
Wear it.
wear it.
Oh,
And then
I
we
would
give,
love to come to an event like that.
yes,
COVID, go away.
I know.
Seriously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seriously. Because if COVID wasn't here, we would have been doing our event because we were definitely planning
Yes,
a women event to do in
Yes,
the islands,
yes, and we
and
had everything already organized. We had the program, an
we
exciting
had the,
program,
yes,
and
two
we were,
days meditation,
yes, yes,
yoga by the beach.
yes, yes, and really getting a self-reflection,
Yeah.
and a self-reflection,
And then the
and
gender minister was involved,
yes, yes, yes,
your
yes.
good friend.
My sister, my
She
other,
has friends in high places.
definitely. We go way back. As a matter of fact, we were trained by the Caribbean Institute of Women in Leadership together.
Ah,
That's where I met her. I didn't meet her in St. Kitts Nevis. I actually
really?
met her in St. Lucia.
Amazing.
Yes,
And we'll find out you guys are from the same island.
yes. That's the first time I met her was in St. Lucia, and we have been together ever since.
I definitely have to get her on the program. I'm booked until listen to me. I'm booked until the end of January, but I would definitely love to get her on the program and talk about some of the programs that she's doing with
Right.
gender-based programs.
Yes.
And today is the start of 90 days,
Now, 14 days of activism
14 days of activity,
against
activists.
gender-based violence. And as a minister, she has a full program. One of the themes for this year is to orange the world. They call for gender-based
The
violence.
orange, yeah?
Orange the world. And so we went to church on Sunday, and today there was the youth parliament where they debated a bill on gender-based violence, because in St. Kitts and Nevis, we do not have that piece of legislation that is passed. So the young people, by bringing it to the forefront, is asking the government to consider amending that bill to become part of our legislative framework as it
Yes,
relates to gender-based
yes,
violence. And so
yes.
I was there in Parliament for the morning, and
This morning.
this morning, yes,
Okay.
yeah, it was an awesome
So you're
experience.
like really semi-retired, right?
Oh my God. I
Retired, but I was in Parliament this morning.
yes,
That's okay. You will never stop working.
I know
People
it's
like
a
us, we just
challenge.
have to keep going.
I know
Yeah, and it keeps us young. It really does.
it does.
And with the gender-based issues makes it very very difficult to implement goal number 5. How
Yes.
is that going in your community in your area?
Well, always you have that is a process, because a lot of times, just like was said in Parliament, when gender-based violence occur, it can be verbal, it can be a
Mm-hmm.
touch, it can be
Mm-hmm.
violent, a violent physical activity that
Mm-hmm.
harms the person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're passing in the street and somebody's telling you, girl, you look good, boy, I want to jump on and that. You know how
Mm-hmm. It's
Caribbean are.
emotional too.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
so, do you want to pass back there? Sometimes, if you pass on a street and you get that kind of a reaction on that street, you try to find another street to go back to where so it is very traumatic. And within employment framework as well, when you have violence that is directed at you, gender-based violence, like people trying to force you to do certain things
Mm-hmm.
and so
Mm-hmm.
on, it haunts you. It is because you want to work, you
Right.
have your obligations and you want to work. And so a lot of time women succumb to it because of the fact that they have to earn, you have to earn. But women have to reach. It is not an easy thing. It is not an easy thing, because how can you give up a job?
Right, because of yeah. Mm.
But what we would wish to happen is that person realize that other persons have rights as well. All of us have our alienable rights.
Yes.
We should have we have the right to be able to work in an environment that is peaceful, to be to walk in the street without being assaulted verbally, to be in especially in your home, which is your
Yes.
sanctuary, to be
Yeah.
able to do that without violence. And so, as we start this 16 days of activism, I think this is one of the first times that I've seen so many entities really organizing events
Yeah.
around gender-based violence,
Yeah,
because
because there's an increase because of COVID.
the COVID.
There's an increase of gender-based violence. Cassandra says she's watching you.
Love you, Cassandra. I love.
Lester Govaye says,
Oh
great
my God.
work.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations on your honorable work. You're an inspiration and blessing.
Oh my gosh, Lester. Yes.
Devon Diaz says hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so those some of the messages. If you guys are watching, you want to send some messages,
Yes.
let
Yes.
us know.
Yes. 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 Lester. 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 His mom was my neighbor.
Oh,
So Lester is calling from New York, or
also he's
wherever,
watching from New
New
York,
York, or wherever he is at this time.
wherever he is. Oh, Cassandra says hello.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi,
Cassandra.
Cassandra. Yes. Wherever he is, because he travels a lot.
Okay,
He's
okay.
an awesome
Well,
individual.
oh, thank you for taking the time and tuning
Yes.
in. That's really
Yes. That's
great.
really nice. Yes. 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 This
Let's
has been.
the I am I'm really for the SDGs and I'm an advocate for the SDGs. I just want to get when you first heard about the SDGs, what were your reaction?
I had been involved with Minister Brandy Williams
Mm-hmm.
from since around 2011. We have been collaborating, but she is a gender activist. And so when the SDGs came around, because remember we came out of the Millennium the
And then
Development Goals
yes, yes.
and coming to the SDGs, they had nothing on us because we were ready. As a matter of fact, there was a desk for the SDG in her ministry.
Already.
Yes. And so one of the things that we have done over the years is that we have done um, training and seminars and focus groups on the SDGs. We looked at poverty. We looked at
Mm-hmm.
1 to 5. We looked at 1 to 5. Everything that we do, we bring it back to 5, which is the gender.
Gender. Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
we looked at health and gender equality, because
Reproductive health,
reproductive health
menstrual health, which is
and
what
rights
I
of
work with with my some of my communities. Female menstrual health,
yes,
which is some of the communities it's considered a taboo, and women don't get the type of health care they need during that time.
right.
So it's very serious.
That is really good work. So when we focus on and one of the things that we have noticed over the years is that when you focus, when you help women, you help a whole community.
FaceTime video. Sorry about that.
You,
Go ahead.
you dance a lady. Yes.
You know, the person that's calling me knows I have my shows on Wednesday,
Right,
right?
right, right.
So,
And when you look at the advancement of women, because in our part of the world, most of our homes are single parent households.
yes.
And
Hmm.
so we focus on the gender equality, because in doing that, we are providing households with empowerment, with advancement, and so on, so that the next generation won't have to go through this.
Yes. Yes.
As we speak, we are looking at concepts. We've already developed a concept for women and youth in agriculture and agro-processing, their perspective as it relates to climate change
Hmm.
and the onset of COVID-19.
Hmm.
We had already developed the concept, and we now had to put in the COVID-19 perspective, because we are hoping to get funding for this forum. It is a 3-day forum that will be held next year, March. And we are looking at the fact that this COVID situation is not an isolated event. It is coupled with climate change,
Mm-hmm.
coupled with um, food security. You want to look at food security for the family. You want to look at the import bill because a lot of our food is imported. And
Yes.
so we are trying to enhance food security and economic empowerment of women and youth.
Yes.
That is our
Yes.
step.
The
And
COVID-19 has pushed the SDG back at least 3 years in some countries.
yes,
They say 650 million people will be hungry, in desperate need of food by the end of COVID-19, and they're looking like 2022.
yes, I would imagine so because at first, when the impact happened, farmers and fisher folk were not considered as essential workers.
Yes.
And so when we had the lockdown, farmers were not allowed to go to work, so they lost their crops.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a real economic setback. Then you look at from the Red Cross perspective, where I volunteer, we have been at the forefront of the response because our tourism sector is our main income earner. And the tourism has grown to a halt, not just here, but around the world.
Yes, around the
And,
world,
and
definitely.
the loss of earning is very far reaching. For a population of like 50,000, we had like 6,000 families by four. That's 24,000 persons who are right now really suffering from the economic impact. And so we have had to develop plans and to put plans in place, which include a budget to seek funding to assist. Gratefully, we are very grateful to the many persons who have assisted the Red Cross because we got funding from IFRC. We got
Okay.
we got local funding from other companies such as Rams Trading Limited, such as the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, other agencies outside of St. Kitts like USAID and so on
Yeah,
have
yeah.
contributed. Coca-Cola have contributed. The bank, RBC have contributed. So there are some social partners and business partners who have come on board to assist. But
Yeah.
as you said, the amount of persons who would be impacted by the end of this situation.
Yes.
And there are several types of impacts. So that in itself has set back because nobody is going to be studying SDG
Right.
when they don't have food to eat.
Yes.
And
Yes. And
we have
yeah.
to look at the Maslow's theory all over again, which is the first thing that I want, something to eat.
Yes. Yeah. And it's amazing the impact that we don't think about with the SDGs. And because I teach the SDGs and
Yes,
what's up. So I have SDG ambassadors, and I advocate for these goals. I believe personally, in the heart of my heart, these goals will make a difference.
they are
So
making a difference, yes.
they are making a difference. By 2030, if we all put our heads together and start implementing 1, 2, 3, or 4 goals,
Yes.
it's going to be a great impact on this world. And another thing that was researching and there's a lot of concern about is the healthcare system within the next 9 months.
Oh my. I
They
want
estimate that 1.9 new babies will be born within the next 9 to 10 months
because
because of the
the
lockdown.
lockdown, you see, because you don't have that is recreation in itself. You can go to
Nothing to
exercise.
do.
If you can go, you have something to do. You have something to do. And but it is, I mean, if you look at the big picture, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of persons have lost their lives as a result of the
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19, and they are more or less replenishing.
Yeah. Oh,
I,
okay. Now that's a good way of looking at
I won't
it.
I won't be part of the replenishment.
You and I both. The farm
But
is closed.
yes, but
But they're saying that it will put such an overwhelming state on the healthcare system like a lot of hospital won't have the facility or the manpower to
To deal.
handle COVID and the new birth rate that's coming.
Yes.
So a
And
lot of people now they're telling them get prepared to birth at home.
yes, you may have to do that. And
Yeah.
so the midwifery,
Yeah,
you
it's a
may
good
have to,
area. Yeah.
yeah, but even so in the context of COVID, you can't go from one house to the next, just
Right.
like that without proper protection, you know. It is a challenge. It is a major challenge. In our case, we have just opened our borders. Our ports, points of entry, have just opened from since March. We were closed from since March.
Yes.
The 25th of March, we closed down, and we only allowed in essentials, no commercial. We just we opened our ports to commercial travel, and we have imported 3 cases of COVID so far. And
Since
we
you opened
on the 31st of October we opened.
and you've
And
gotten 3 cases that came
we
in.
have, yes, we have, and maybe more because
You
everybody
guys
has,
are not doing any testing at the airport.
I think they are, and but persons when once you come into the country, it is mandatory quarantine for 2 weeks.
Two
During
weeks.
during which time we have to do that.
Yeah.
Lady B, we definitely have to do that. This is a small society, a small economy, and we do not have the capacity to absorb the amount of cases that we would get if we had just allow people to just
Come
do what
in.
they want. You know, people can be allowed to just do what they want because some people you say, okay, you can quarantine in your house, and when you look, they're in the supermarket.
Buy salt, fish, and bake.
Yes, and what we are saying is that this we are here to assist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you need something, say something and you would get it. But I hope we don't have to go back to the shutdown. And I think that your country, the US, is is the root of all of the problems with COVID. With all
It's
due
Trump's
respect,
fault.
it, I can't just blame Trump. Everybody have to take responsibility.
Everyone has to take responsibility
Everybody has
because
to
right now the US is a hot mess. We're going back into shutdown. The schools are still closed. The cases are getting higher and higher. And and no money, no jobs. Everyone is suffering.
it's very tough.
It's
That is very,
very
very,
tough. I
very
tell
tough.
you, I was doing customer service,
Yes.
working home in between time. I still didn't get my last paycheck because it's just shut down.
Oh
You
my,
understand? So it's like even the jobs that you're taking, it's not secure because any minute now they could disappear.
I know.
So
We have
it's
been
a very interesting situation to be in at this particular, day and time.
we have been blessed. I don't even want to say that we have been blessed, but we have been able, the government have been able to pay salaries so far. The government is one of the biggest employee base in our federation, and the government have been able to pay its salaries, and
Good.
and persons persons like me who get a small pension, I have to try and exist off of that,
Hmm.
and just I am involved in an agricultural corporation as well, and we are going to plant up our area because you have to look at the long-term effect of this.
Right.
Wherever you have a small space where you can
Plan something.
plant something because in my travels, I went to Japan and I went to South Korea, and they have a culture of every space being planted, especially in Japan. You see the Mandarin oranges, you see teas and so on, all. And we have to develop, when you go somewhere and you see a good habit, you have to pick it up. That is
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
one of the, that's
Yes.
one of the
Even
things.
Japan, China, wherever the case may be, if you see it's working, it's going to work.
Yeah, if you see a good habit, you pick it up.
Yes.
Because those are old societies that have had to develop cooperation in order to survive. And we may have to do the same thing,
Yes.
develop corporations in order for us to survive this COVID. It is a serious situation. Persons are suffering. Persons need psychosocial support. If you're in your house
Yes.
and you're locked up, you need psychosocial support because
Yeah.
some people, they don't like to be indoors. Some people are outdoor people. Some people like to go to the bars. They like to go hang out, like you like to go dancing. But the other day, you're saying, today I'm going to the window. The next
I know.
I'm going to the wall.
I'm traveling from the window to the
The
wall.
wall.
What should I wear? I don't
Yes,
even know what to wear. What should I wear to go to the kitchen? But
yeah,
the
you
thing
have
is,
to.
the effect that they're having on children is even worse.
Yes,
The kids being locked up with
yes,
no social can't go out. It's
interaction.
really taking a toll on a lot of the kids.
Yes, everybody across the board. It is
Yeah,
economic,
yeah.
it's social, it is psychological, it is even um, spiritual
Hmm.
because it affects all areas of life.
It's affecting a lot of people's faith.
Yes, and then some people, since we got an opportunity to go back to church and stuff, some people have not even gone back to church
Mm.
because they,
They don't want the COVID.
no, they don't
It's
want it.
there too.
Yeah, yeah. So we have gone through this situation, and as a result, all of the world systems have been set back,
Hmm.
including the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
And so, how to get that back on track? That is a challenge.
Yeah.
And even instances where you have the non-communicable diseases and so on, you find that they have been taking a backseat to the COVID because the COVID is more urgent, more deadly, and so you're going to deal
Yeah.
with the biggest fire first.
Yeah. Because here in the US, we're going into the cold and flu season.
Yes.
So you're not even hearing anything about cold and flu. Because you imagine getting the cold and flu and COVID.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
right
I
now
think
we're and I I think a lot of people just have the flu and in their mind they think they have COVID because
yes,
some of it's so similar,
yes,
but we have to go through it, my dear, because when you think about 100 years ago when they had the Spanish influenza, it
yes.
lasted for 3 years.
Wow. So we're gonna
Five
be going.
hundred million people died.
Yes, we're gonna be going.
500 million.
It's a lot,
So,
and we
like you
were not,
say, they're replenishing.
and we were not, we were not as connected as we are now.
Right,
World is
right.
so much more connected now than then.
Yeah.
So, as activists, as community workers, we have to look for opportunities where we can assist and provide persons with the relief that they want, that they need.
Yes.
And one of the relief is not just food, but it is being able to have fun. So how do you
Mm-hmm.
have fun in an environment that is so serious, where you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow? It is a challenge.
Yes.
It is a
It's
serious
gonna
challenge.
be it's gonna be interesting to see how 2021 plays out. It's gonna be
Yes.
interesting. My birthday is January 20th, so I'm having a virtual birthday party. You're invited.
Well, mine is the 18th, if you please.
I'll be
18th of
there.
January. 18th of January, and I'll have a virtual
I
party as
know it.
well.
That's why
But
we're both January babies.
virtual party, physical gifts.
I like that. Virtual party, but physical gifts.
Physical gifts. I want my
You
gifts.
don't want no virtual, you don't want virtual gifts.
No, I want physical
And
gifts.
definitely physical cake.
Yes, yes.
Are you listening, Cassandra?
And my daughters,
Definitely
let me tell
physical
you,
cake. We'll have
I,
virtual because a virtual Zoom party is better than an ICU visit the next
oh,
day.
definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
And my daughters are great cake makers.
Oh,
I
wow.
won't, I won't have a problem in that department. Last year, my my younger daughter had her birthday, and the cake that her sister made for her was so awesome and
Wow.
tasted so nice. I don't think she could ever make a cake again taste that good.
It was the bomb.
It was really
I'm
nice.
coming. I'm going. And with all the COVID and everything that's happened, I have not been back home since I came to the US. And so
Mhm.
Guyana is on my mind. So
I
I've
would
made up my
love it.
mind that in April or May, I'm going to make a trip for at least 2 weeks, just
Well,
hopefully by then.
you'll have 2 weeks of quarantine, so you better say a month.
Guyana is quarantined for 2 weeks.
I don't know how much time the quarantine, but St.
I'm
Kitts
not
and
coming to
Nevis,
St. Kitts until they lower the quarantine.
yes,
So
it's
I'm not
not going
coming
to
for two
happen.
weeks and sit around. I won't be able to do anything.
I know what we have here. We have designated tours that would not bring
Oh,
you into. So even though you are in quarantine, you can go on tours that are specific, where you wouldn't come into contact with locals.
oh, okay. No, that's smart.
Yeah, so it's not all dread and gloom.
I
And
just well, I just want to go and lay in the beach. Actually, I just need water. I just
yes,
need the calmness and the waves and the ocean.
yes, well, like a month and a half ago, I went to Nevis to my friend, to the minister for a meeting, and I didn't walk with my vehicle. I usually drive. I
Hmm.
usually, there's a sea bridge that takes you over, and you can drive onto the sea bridge, and then you drive off on the other side. So they sent a speedboat for me, and so I went to the meeting in the ministry's vehicle. And when I'm coming back, they put me in another vehicle, and I see the screen up, and the man telling me, "Oh, I just pick up some people to take to quarantine this morning." I'm like, I can't go home. Suppose one of these people have COVID.
And you're
So,
like, did you sterilize your car before I got in?
yes, so he said, I just stabilize it good and everything. I said, no to Telca, no more speedboats over to Nevis. You're going on the sea bridge, no matter
On
how
your
long
own
it takes.
vehicle.
My own vehicle. What I
Ah,
did, Lady B, what I did when I got down, it took 8 minutes to come from one island to the next
on the
on the
speedboat,
speedboat. Yes,
right?
just 8 minutes. When I said, I have my swimsuit in the trunk. And I took off my clothes, I put on my swimsuit, and I went from head to toe in the sea for an hour. I said, no COVID can be on me after this.
Ah, did you not?
So
You washed that COVID off.
I wash myself, I swim for an hour. No, over.
Really?
Yes,
So you're
for
a
an
good
hour.
swimmer. I'm not a
Yes,
good swimmer.
yes, I am. I'm an intermediate swimmer. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
still you can swim. I
My
can't.
my husband was the commander of the Coast Guard, so I had to learn.
Oh, so you had to learn to
I had
swim.
to learn to swim. Yes,
Ah,
yes.
when I come there, someone will teach me to swim. I'm never too old to learn.
He will teach you. He'll be happy to, you know.
I will be drowned in. He's like, Talker, handle this one, no. She will not kill me today. Fighting
And
on the water. He'd be like, can you just stand up? I'd be like, oh, okay.
no, you won't go any place. You know, we are allowed to swim off of the deep water port
Mm-hmm.
in 12 feet of water.
12 feet. That's higher than me.
Yes, 12 feet of water.
I'm only two something, five something, 5'2".
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
In 12
12
feet of
feet.
water.
Well,
Yes,
my dear,
yes,
I went to it's 4:10 already.
yes.
I don't want to let you go. We could talk
I know.
forever.
I know. But I have a
But
workshop coming up on Friday, and
yeah,
I'm going to do some finishing touches. Mhm.
thank you. It's a pleasure knowing you. Ever since we've met, it's always been a good time. And sometimes we'll go months without talking, but we'll catch up like that. And
Yes, that's what I love.
yeah,
We are in touch in spirit.
yes, yes.
Yes, so
And I'm extremely, I don't even know, there's not even a word. I'm very, very, very proud of you. I'm
thank you.
extremely proud of you. If anyone
Thank you.
deserves that recognition, it's you.
Yes,
Your
many persons have
kindness,
said
your
that.
loving attitude, the
Mhm.
way you accept people, for what they are. It's a beautiful thing. You have a beautiful personality. And even Sharice, you remember my friend Sharice
Of
asked
course.
about you
Yes,
sometime,
yes,
you know,
yes.
and I hope she has an opportunity to tune in and watch
I
because
saw
she's
her with her
also,
granddaughter. I
yes.
saw her with her
So, you know, there's
granddaughter.
no, and her granddaughter, her two dogs,
Yes.
living the
Yeah, but
lake
look.
life.
Yes, yes, yes. That's nice. That's nice.
So she's a
Very nice.
glam mom now. So
Yes,
that's her whole life. I'm a glam mom.
yes,
And
that's
her
nice.
daughter also moved there.
Oh,
So she's really in heaven, and I'm very
that's
happy
good.
for her too. You know, because
Yes,
she's now surrounded by her family, and she was just out here. She was just out here by herself. You know, so I'm
yes.
very happy. You know,
Me too.
yeah.
But she
So
has
and
you now. She have
yeah.
you as a family.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
COVID didn't stop us. I mean, about a month ago, she came and did my hair.
Let me
You know.
remind you. Remember 2 years ago, you told me that you used to do the radio program
Yes.
and you had a pause. So I am very proud of you that you have gone back into your field
Oh,
and
thank you.
you're doing so well.
And video is not my thing.
Well,
I was never comfortable on video because I like my voice better than all of this. I prefer radio. So I went to
okay.
college for radio television broadcasting, but I choose radio over television because I feel I could do so much more with the voice.
Right.
But because of COVID, I still do the radio show. I still come back and I do the radio show. But
Mm,
this Facebook Live took a lot.
yes.
And I
Very
started in
so.
May. I skipped a couple of days, and then now it's becoming regular. And I'm booked
Mhm.
till January, so I try to get booked ahead of time so I don't skip any Wednesdays. So it
Right,
keeps
right.
me going. And then I started had to do the face and
Well,
everything.
well,
So
you look lovely as usual.
oh, thank you. Just
Yes,
and it's just I need to go outside and start walking and exercising back again, and you know go out the door.
well,
I,
everything in good time.
everything in good time. You're absolutely
Yes.
right. And we have the
I want to
time.
take, I want to just take this opportunity to thank everyone who tuned in to listen to us. It was
Yes.
a great pleasure. And Lady B, I love you.
Oh,
You're awesome. And
thank you. You're
I,
awesome too.
I can't wait for us to get together
I
with
know. Cassandra said
the
you were doing
cast.
just a good job. She
The
just got
cast.
home from work. She's
Mhm.
laughing. She's carrying on. Just reading some of the things she's writing
Yes,
here.
yes, yes.
Put
And
our order in.
all of us, Cassandra,
Yes. Oh yeah.
and
Ah,
you and I,
get together with some wing and wine and
and the lady on the lake,
enjoy.
the lady
Yes.
on the lake, we'll
Yes.
all get together and hang out.
Any last words you have to say for any, especially the women that's going through stuff? We don't want to leave the men out. We know International Men Day was a couple of days
A couple
ago,
days ago, I
along with
did.
along with International Toilet Day. I don't know if they wanted to put the men in the toilet, but
Well, no, I will never put men in a toilet.
I know, right?
Yes,
I was
I
it's
think
so funny that International Men Day and Toilet Day was on the same day. So I don't know who did that, but for the women and the teenagers,
I
um,
think when I look at, I see people. There is no young person. There is no. All of us are equal, and all of us deserve equal attention, and all of us deserve to be considered. All of us bring a lot to the table.
yes,
When I think about young people, I think about the energy. They always come to the table with all of that
they
energy,
always got something going on.
and they have a new dimension. They would have thought of something new. When
Yeah,
you look at men, men bring a certain kind of strength
yeah,
and a,
not just pecs and muscles.
and a kind of determination, right? To to the forefront.
Yeah.
When you look at a woman is durable, absorb,
Hmm.
woman absorb and is durable and is there for the long haul.
We're just queens.
Yes. And then you look at elders and they are so wise.
Knowledge, yeah.
And they're so and they no longer focus on their body, they focus on their spirit. And so you get that spiritual vibe from an older person. And so because of my involvement with all spheres of society, I always try to pick up the good that is there. A lot of negative is there, but what good is a negative? It is not to teach you
Yes.
a lesson. So it is good to interact and to value all people from all walks of life, because we are all in this human race together.
Yes, we are. And
Yes,
on that note, thank you.
you're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations once again. I guess
Yes.
I'll just have to bow when I see her. Just bow and curtsy
Don't
or
you
something.
dare, don't you dare.
I have to give her a new title. Her Royal Highness. Her Majesty. Well, no, there's only one Majesty.
Right.
Most that we don't want to go that far, but
There
it
are
was it.
several majesties, but
Yeah,
we'll stick with the Telca for now.
the Talker, right? Okay,
Yes,
we'll stick with that one.
yes.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Everyone that tuned in and everyone that was on the Facebook chat, we love you guys and we thank you. This has been another fantastic edition of Women Wednesday with your host, Lady B Bless. It's going to be uploaded on YouTube. It's going to be on Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts within the next 75 hours. So you guys go ahead, press play so Lady Be Blessed could get paid. Okay? And join me again next week for another edition of Women Wednesday with Lady Be Blessed, where we're talking to Crystal, the dating coach out of Milan, Italy. She has advice for all you ladies that's looking to date millionaires. I will be tuning in.
I will be tuning in. There's always more.
There's always more, honey. You
Yes,
understand?
yes,
So
yes, yes.
she's my guest for next week, and I want to thank my sister for the jewelry worn on today's show. My
Oh,
sister bought
nice.
me a very nice set. She came by to do my hair. Thank her for doing my hair. And she dressed me with my jewelry today. So I want to thank my sister. Love you guys. Everyone that's tuning in, love you guys. See you Wednesday. You have been listening to Women Wednesday with Lady B Blessed. Thank you, Madam
Bye.
Queen.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.